everyone. I forgot that this countdown ends abruptly. I put it together like super quickly before a webinar a few weeks ago, and need to, need to work on it again. Hi, Neil. How are you doing?
Doing good, Joyce. I'm doing good. It's great to see you again.
Yeah, same here. I'm very excited for today's webinar. And for those of you who don't know, and which would be all of you, I guess, is Neil and I spoke in June, July, I think, to first like talk about his project and like set up this webinar. And one of the reasons I'm so excited is like the UI of your app is so pretty. I love it. I think it's my favorite UI of WeWeb app. So in the chat, if you have UIs that you think are even prettier, don't hesitate to send them my way.
Please,
We can make it a
please.
contest. And yeah, so today's today's webinar, the idea is for you, Neil, to tell us a bit about yourself, show us your app, and for anyone in the chat, like let us know where you're based. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to like ask them. This will be a conversation, so I'll interrupt Neil with your questions if there are any. So yeah, don't hesitate to go for it. So yeah, Neil, can you tell us a bit about yourself? Like, where are you based? What's your background? What did you start building?
Yeah, of course. So I live in Southern California, in Orange County. Lived here my whole life. As a profession, I'm a website designer and developer. For clients, I build high-end websites, high-end designs, and the websites themselves using Figma and
Using like
Webflow.
yeah, I was gonna ask Figma
Figma and
Webflow.
Webflow, yep,
Nice.
my tools of choice. And kind of where this product started, I'll have to go back a few years ago. So originally back in 2019, 2020, I had a program where I was teaching people how to design beautiful and effective sales funnels. For those of you in the audience who don't know, a sales funnel is essentially, it's very similar to a website, but instead of a website where there's navigation on the top and you can go to any of the pages on the website, a sales funnel is a page after a page after a page that's directly pushing you towards an end goal. So on each page, there's nothing you can click except to get to the next page, right? Whatever, whether that's purchasing a product, entering your information, it's really just creating a quote unquote website that's geared towards one action.
So it's like marketers like a
Yeah,
supermarketer's
super
website.
marketer's website. Yeah. If you're
Yeah.
running ads to anything, most of the time you want to run it to a sales funnel versus a website, because a sales funnel is going to have your best chances of squeezing out money on the back end.
Yeah.
So I had this program. I was teaching students how to do this. I built sales funnels for 2-3 years as well before I switched to more website development. And throughout that time, I experienced problems in my own business, of course, and saw what my students were going through as well. And the main problem was kind of the lack of organization with working with clients. If you're working with a client on building a funnel, or for simplicity's sake, let's say building a website, there's many components. There's the design components. There's the questionnaire component, meaning getting all the information I need to design the website. There's the sales copy. There's communication back and forth. There's documents. There's tasks. There's me getting the approval. I designed something out. The client has to approve it. And all of this stuff was done across so many platforms. Like, just to communicate with clients, I had Facebook Messenger, Slack, Discord, text message, email, across all the clients. So I'm having to check all 5 of these platforms every day. Then one client invites me on Asana. One client invites me into their ClickUp. It just very quickly turns into such a massive amount of tools that you're being invited into by your clients that things fall through the cracks, right? I'm not superhuman. I can't constantly be checking 20 platforms at all times, being on top of everything. That's where I got the idea to build the platform that we're going to show you today, is FunnelPortals. Essentially, my idea was to create an all-in-one platform where a funnel builder, meaning a service provider like myself, can invite their clients into, and it's a portal that allows me to interface with them using all of the functionality to all those tools I mentioned: messaging, tasks, approval states, uploading files, questionnaires, everything all in one place. So me as a service provider, I only have to log into one thing, check one thing for all my clients, see the status of all the clients. Makes my life easier, makes their life easier, makes everyone's life easier.
Awesome. Hi, Prince. I see your hello in the chat. So it's a project management tool. Like it's
Yep,
project management
project
tool.
management and white labeled client portal.
Okay. And so your client, because who would they be? Would they be a marketing team who doesn't have a funnel specialist, or would
It
it
could be a
be
marketing team. It could be just a small business who needs a sales funnel or a website. It's essentially anyone that I'm gonna be providing a service to. It's separated out into kind of folders called clients in the platform, so that everything is separated out. Everything is clear and easy to see.
all right? Cool. Um, can you maybe we can start before like getting into like the process of evaluating tools and how you got started. Maybe you can just do a quick tour so people get a feel for the UI and the different features, just
Yeah,
super quickly.
of course. So if you guys can see here, I'll keep it like this. And they can see screen share now, right?
And right now I see our faces in the screen share, so I'm waiting for, yeah, there we go.
There we go.
So
Okay,
yeah,
funnelportals.com. So this is
yeah.
the landing page. You guys can see a little bit of the landing page here.
Hi, craft design.
So this is kind of what the landing page of the website looks like. Tried to keep it modern and clean
And
and
this is
easy.
built on Webflow.
This is built on Webflow,
Yeah.
exactly. I designed and built this myself. So I'll log in here into my
And now
demo
we're in
account.
WeWeb.
Now we're in
Yes.
WeWeb. Yep.
Yeah.
Now we're in WeWeb. You can see that through app.funnelportals.com up here.
Oh, sure.
So I'm going to sign in. You can see here we have our list of clients. This is a demo account, so it's all fake information in here, but I'm going to show you guys anyways. So I click into our first client here, Flare Link. This is where the funnels for that client live, right? So each client, you can be working on multiple funnels. I'm just going to click into the cold clients funnel here. And now that we're inside here, you can see kind of where this is all going, right? So as I told you guys, a funnel has a list of steps or pages versus a website is all the pages can be linked to at once from one page. Funnel is sequentially, it goes from, for example, the free training to video sales, et cetera, et cetera. So that's the kind of the system I created here to visually see what the pages are, but also be able to manage them. I'll show you guys how that works. So from the master page here on the funnels, we have all of the information. We have approval states, we have task management system, media and files. This is where they upload their images, resources, they can upload links, documents, full rich text document editor. And now if we click into one of the, oh, sorry, was that Joyce?
No, I said nice, and I bet when we come to the section about obstacle and difficulties, I would be curious to know what you have to say about the rich text editor.
Yep. I will give my info on that for sure. So here under the left, so this is the list of our pages, right? I'm just showcasing the same exact data here that's being shown right here. So you can click into, for example, the sign up page. And now all of the information here is only going to be for the sign up page. So if I add, let's say I upload an image for here, it's only going to show up on the sign up page. But when I'm on the master page, it's going to show, overview. It's going to show everything from all the pages combined. So it's really just layers of organization, right? It's pages inside of funnels, inside of clients. And then for the communication side, and I'm still working on this now that we have socket functionality with Xano.
Oh, right. Yeah, the real time.
So I created it in a threads format before that functionality was available, where you can just send messages like, send a little spam message there. But you'd have to actually click the refresh button to show it again. But now that we have socket functionality, which is awesome, I can make this live. Essentially that's most of the interface.
That looks amazing. I really love it. We have a first question from Prince, who's asking, why did you choose Webflow for your landing page?
Webflow. So it's not even that I chose it for my landing page. It's what I chose for my business in general. Before I used to use WordPress with Elementor, like we had spoken about, Joyce. But I found that for I'm on the higher end of designers, and to develop out something that has a complex layout, really one-to-one of the design, you have to have full capabilities of CSS, HTML, all that kind of stuff. And Webflow, from what I've experienced, is just the closest that I can get any website to be to custom develop. So I have full capability. Everything is, Flexbox, CSS classes done properly. There's no, everything is very clean on Webflow, essentially my point there. It's hard. It's definitely harder than all the other platforms, but the end result from my experience is always the best. As you guys can see here, it's just seamless, right?
Yeah. And that's comparing Webflow with WordPress. But I think Prince is probably wondering as well, why use Webflow and WeWeb separately?
Oh, why use them separately? Okay. Yeah, again, it's the same thing, right? I guess it would come down to I have way more experience building out like a kind of complex design on Webflow than WeWeb. I 100% could have built this on WeWeb as well. But for me, it's just faster for me to do it on Webflow. So I just hosted them both separately, one Webflow, one WeWeb, and I just link the login button to the WeWeb sign in.
And it's a common, I think it's a great question because it's a common question we have, and people often ask us if it's like better to have Webflow for landing pages. And so obviously it can be annoying to pay for different tools.
Yeah.
So you can definitely have your landing pages and your website on WeWeb, but we are proponents of like when you can choose like the best in class product for your specific use case. That's, we're modular by design, we're front end only by design. So, best backend, best front end, best landing page, or marketing website builder. And Webflow does have like that, that history, of like for SEO, for example, they have a lot of built-in features. They have static pages, more items for static pages. They have the CMS. So if you're building a website where you anticipate you might have a blog, for example, it makes a lot of sense to use Webflow. You can definitely do it in WeWeb, but it also makes sense to do it in Webflow.
Yeah, and on
like
that note, Joyce, sorry, what you said makes sense, right? You choose whatever tool is the best for the job that you need to get done and your skill set, right? For
and your skill
example,
set, very
yeah,
important, because what
I
you
have
mentioned,
clients that I build websites on Webflow for, and they want me to build out like a course system on Webflow using like Webflow's add-ons that let you do like kind of coding stuff similar to WeWeb. But every time I tell them, don't use Webflow for that, use WeWeb for that, because that's the proper tool to get that job done, right?
Yeah. So like if you can only afford one tool, then you'll need to make compromises on some things, and which is completely understandable. And there's when you're first starting up, if you're just testing an idea and doesn't have any revenues yet, you might want to compare and figure out which one has the best compromise. But if you otherwise, yeah, we're big proponents of try to have the best tool for the best use case. All right. If you have any other questions in the chat, don't hesitate. I hope that was helpful, Prince.
Yeah, I hope that was helpful from my end as well, Prince. Okay, nice. So finish that walkthrough of the platform there. And I guess I can answer Jessica's question. That's what they wanted me to use, was Webflow plus Wized. In my opinion, I recommend just using WeWeb instead of trying to stitch together Webflow and an add-on software, essentially, right? WeWeb has all of it in one place. All of it's seamless. You don't have to worry about things breaking between platforms.
I haven't tried Wise myself. I've heard it's a little bit heavy on the JS side, so you need to be a bit more proficient on JavaScript. But if you are proficient, I think it works well. So you might, again, it comes back to skill set and figuring out what works for you.
Yeah. Okay, awesome. Yeah, and I'm done on my demo side, I believe, unless there's anything else you guys wanted to see inside of there.
No, it looks great. And so, so you came up with the idea. You mentioned you came up with the idea because you had that, you had that course, and you were working with. It made a lot of sense to have a project management tool. How did you How did you get started? So you're a Webflow guy. You have that experience. Did you first try doing it in Webflow, for example?
So it goes back then when I had that program. I had built a software on Bubble back then. So
Okay.
this was like back in 2020. And it was not, I didn't like it. I did not like Bubble. I was able to get the job done. I built something that worked, but it was not pretty. It was like maybe I had a lack of understanding back then, but I was bandaging things together using Zapier instead of proper APIs. Like things just didn't feel like a real app, right? So
And
really
with your experience of Webflow, it would be like very different. It's a very different approach.
Yes, very different approach as well. So honestly, the idea for FunnelPortals and this software didn't even come till I came across WeWeb. So first I came across WeWeb. I was mind blown looking at what is like, how can this be possible? I learned about Xano on the back end or Supabase, whatever it is. And it made sense because before on Bubble, I believe on Bubble, it was the database and the front end at the same time. I can't remember.
Yep.
Yeah. So I didn't like that as much. I liked how Xano kept it separately. And once I kind of looked into WeWeb, saw the potential, saw that I can read and write data just like it's nothing, right? That's when the ideas started coming to my head. And I thought, okay, I can accomplish these feats. I can get these things done. I know this industry and I know the problems they're going through. How can I take what I've learned that I can accomplish here and use it to solve a problem for these people?
Very cool.
Yeah.
And Craft Design is asking if you can show the documents part.
Oh, yes. Yes. Let me show the documents part. So here we are. We'll go into this cold clients funnel. Let's go down to documents. So new document. So here I'll enter the document name, test WeWeb document. So we can use like the pound signs, heading to
Markdown,
blah, blah,
yeah.
blah, blah, blah. You can do bullet points. Yeah, pretty much it's as simple as that, right? And if I save the document, it takes me back to my list of documents here. I can click into a document, have it here, click edit.
I'm surprised you didn't use the option to have a custom menu.
Option to have a custom menu on which? So right here. Yeah. I couldn't figure it out.
All right. Well, it can be. I'll do a little demo for you at another
if you
time.
could, I'll design a whole UI kit for this. I'll design the whole bar right there, and you can give that to people as well.
Because it's the one thing that stands out from your UI, though it looks good because it's still in the right shades, so it works.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree though. I was trying to figure out how to customize it. I think at the time I had other stuff that I had to higher priority stuff that I had to take care of. But that's essentially how it works. It's really just a rich text field, right? If I remember correctly, I think it's just a rich text field.
Yeah, absolutely. And Craft Design is asking if you can export it to PDF. And I'm just sharing the link to the docs for the custom menu if anyone is interested in the chat.
If I can export it to PDF.
The document.
I don't know. I have no idea. If you can, that'll be news to me. I'll give them the capability to do that. But yeah, I have no idea. Do you know how that would work, Joyce?
Yeah, you could. There are a couple of options to do it. You could like print the window, and you would have to play around to hide elements just to print the part you want, or you can use the npm plugin to have a library to export PDF. It's something that we would like to add one or two plugins for like PDF extensions to like export PDF right now. And actually, I'll take Jessica's question at the same time. So Jessica had a question about like, when are we going to release a more robust UI kit to make it possible for more users to be able to create beautiful apps like Neel did? Or maybe incentivize someone to release one on the marketplace. So incentivize people to release on the marketplace. We're trying. So when you publish something on the marketplace, you get a commission from that. We're not, we haven't experimented yet with like paying a freelancer to do it. We might do that in the future. I know Neel wants to build a UI kit from this project, so that would be amazing.
That would be awesome.
And for our own like robust UI kit, we were waiting for yesterday's release to work on it. So in case you don't know, yesterday we released a big big release where basically now when you publish a WeWeb app, it has less code. Like we removed a lot of superfluous wrappers. I was telling Neel right before the call, like it's 40 to 50% less wrappers in the code generated. So it's really good. And what that does is that it will allow us to build more complex element in a simple way, in a user-friendly way. Because right now, like if you use our select, or you can see it can get complex, and that's because behind the scenes there are a bunch of wrappers that are messing around with the style and stuff like that. So we hope to release this in November, like a new starter kit that's like super robust. That's the first thing. And then for the PDF side of things, we're also opening the development of extensions to other people. So the fact that we cleaned the DOM, like that the code generated is cleaner now, it's going to make it easier for developers who are not part of the WeWeb team to develop their own custom components, included like PDF export libraries, for example, and make them available on the marketplace. So it's all coming together. It all makes sense in that way. But yeah. And Fred feels he also tried Bubble. I think Bubble is a great tool. It depends on the use case and also your skill set. Once again, when you're coming from Webflow, it's a lot of Webflowers really enjoy WeWeb because like it's kind of it's the similar logic. It's very close to the code, so you don't have to relearn anything.
I agree. I loved it because I literally loved it because of that. Actually, because of that.
All right, so cool. And so it's funny that you actually landed on WeWeb before you really like knew you wanted to build that. Do you remember how you landed on WeWeb?
I want to say it. Did you guys ever do a product hunt launch?
Yes.
It has to be that because I check product hunt like it's my religion every morning. I check every morning. I go through all of the top products. I have like a collection of like thousands saved. I'm pretty sure I came across WeWeb, looked into it, instantly was mind blown that I can do real web app stuff without knowing database writing and APIs and all this stuff. Yeah, it just blew my mind. And then what really made me, I guess it would be you that made me take action, is when I went to the tutorial videos or just like any sort of walkthroughs that were available. You made everything super easy to understand. Obviously, you're teaching like the fundamentals of web app development, interacting with the database, reading and writing, all that kind of stuff, APIs, but it's in a way that's presented through the WeWeb interface. So I'm not trying to decipher lines of code that you're writing. I'm just looking, she clicks this and does this. Okay, that happens. I understand that in my brain now. So really just seeing that and things going off in my brain. Okay, I understand how to do this. I understand how to do this. She has tutorials on this, on this, on this. I can accomplish X, Y, and Z just with this tool, right? And then for me as well, UI is huge, right? The way a software's UI makes a massive impact whether I'm going to download or sign up for it. And it was a big difference from what I was used to on Bubble. Bubble's UI was just, back then it was not good. So for me, it was another really big reason that I went onto the platform. Once I got on the platform, the wheels started turning again, and then I was just addicted to working on WeWeb.
That's really nice to hear. I'll share the UI thing with Flo and Luca, our designer. They'll be thrilled.
Yep. Let them know.
And so what did you find most challenging? Maybe in terms of like building in WeWeb and also like developing a product, iterating on it. I know you work alone, so you worked alone at least for a long time. So what kind of challenges did you face?
I think the hardest thing out of everything, the hardest thing for me would just be how to reference kind of nested data. So if I have like a repeating list of clients, for example, and in those clients, I have a list of the team members in there. For me, always the hardest part every single time was how do I reference those nested things, the information that I need to show, whether that's a related database, like it's I forgot what the term was, but reference field, whether it's a reference field, whether it's I need to do a search of all of the database items whose name matches this client, then go to this table and pull all the people that match that result. That kind of stuff was the hardest. But on that note, what let me actually accomplish that was the AI feature inside of the platform, right? And and I want to explain this too, actually. The AI feature in the tool as well as outside of the tool, just Chat GPT. I would literally write out verbatim. I have a repeating list of I'm using WeWeb as a tool. I have repeating lists of clients in my database. I have a client table, team members table. There's a reference field is this. I literally would type out like 4, 5, 6 paragraphs explaining exactly what I'm trying to accomplish, what I'm not understanding every single time. Even though the AI doesn't understand WeWeb's UI and how it works, it understands how I reference those fields using what's in WeWeb. So for me, AI literally made me able to accomplish all those things because I wouldn't have been able to do it without it.
Nice. So both like WeWeb Copilot inside the product
Yes.
and like ChatGPT outside.
Yes.
That's
WeWeb
super interesting.
Copilot is the best, of course, but I would overuse my credits literally every single month. I would go over the
Oh,
credits.
really?
Yeah. So then I would
Have you
switch to
done
the
it
normal
recently?
AI.
All right. Okay. Funny because we actually it's funny because like when we released that feature, I think it was about a year and a half ago.
Mhm.
Like since then, I think we've increased the limits like 10x now.
Oh, wow. Really?
And it's been a while since someone has like reached their monthly limit and asked us to increase. But yeah, I mean, thankfully the costs have gone down, you know, with the new model, so we were
New
able
model.
to increase it again.
Yeah.
And
Oh, if
like
anyone's listening, use that. They implemented it for a reason. Use it.
yeah, and I mean, we talked a little bit about this with Raphael, our CEO, in the Ask Me Anything session of in June. But AI is a big thing that we want to continue developing. You know, there are a lot of tools getting better and better that mostly help out developers, people who already know how to write code, and that speeds up their process. And we're really looking into ways on how we can continue to improve WeWeb Copilot so that it helps you. I think right now the flaw of WeWeb Copilot is that sometimes it will give you the right answer right away, but sometimes it's not the right answer, or even if it's the right answer, you're not sure why. So you
Mhm.
might change something but break it. And so like one of the next steps for us is having Copilot explain better what it's doing so that you
Mm,
understand and you can
more
kind of
humanistic.
yeah, you can iterate a bit better.
I like that too
Hey,
because that would teach the people as well how. I mean, it teaches you the
yeah,
steps, right?
yeah, and we really believe in like education. That's what we have. That's why we have the academy, and that's why in the academy it's not just a tutorial about click here or there. It's like you said, like the concepts, the programming concepts, because um, yeah, we just really believe in that and feel passionate about helping. Like we think it only empowers people if they understand what they're doing, and if we can help teach in a way that's kind of fun and little by little, that's not too intimidating, like you were saying, you know, in the tutorials, it's not, you don't
Mhm.
have to understand the syntax of the code, for
Yeah.
example, so it removes one of the barriers.
Yep.
um,
Rather
but
than giving me a fish, you taught me to fish, right? Right?
exactly.
You could have easily just given me a Kanban element, a document element, all that stuff, but I would just copy and paste it in and not understand anything that's going on. So
Yeah,
that's why I really like it. Is you guys genuinely taught me a skill that I'm never gonna forget.
that's awesome. Hi Ken Akib, I see you joined the chat. Good to have you here. All right. Anything else that was challenging, like WeWeb specific or Xano specific or business
Uh,
specific?
I guess then on that note, yeah, one thing I had trouble with on Xano side was API. I don't know what it would be called. It's like API. It's like a step-by-step API builder, right?
Oh,
Um,
the function stack.
yeah, function stack. Yeah.
Yeah.
So one of the issues I had was like and actually I'll say WeWeb stuff helped me understand it a bit more because of the referencing nested data, right? If I have teams.member_ID, it's going to show me the member score under ID under the team, under that item in the team database. So that helped me understand how to refer to certain pieces of information in the API calls. But anytime I had to deal with stuff that was not WeWeb, like external APIs, essentially, that's where I just get super confused and lost. And that's where I'm sitting there with AI for 15 minutes back and forth. That didn't work. Can you give me a new solution? That didn't work. Can you give me a new solution? So that's like the only other thing that I would say that really was my time stop or had me stuck on for a few days. But other than that, it's all pretty. You can learn everything else just through videos. Genuinely
Very
everything
cool.
else.
And so you mentioned other APIs. What other tools do you use with WeWeb and Xano?
So for example, one of them is it's just some random API that generates a gradient based off of the user's name, like a randomized gradient based off their name. So once
Of course you would have that.
yeah,
Of course
so
you.
like once the account is created, it calls the API based off their name, gives them a unique gradient that's shown as the background. Like if we look here, behind
Let me
my
see.
name, right here. That's where this gradient comes from, right? So they're all
Very
unique
nice.
gradients. That's why you see different gradients for each
Can,
user
can,
here.
can you show us in the editor, maybe?
Let me see if I can. Let me see if I can. Yeah. So what do you want to see in the editor here
Do you have
specifically?
like, is there a formula or is there an API call, or what is
Um,
it bound to for you? So the
so it's
background.
bound to, let me go to Xano then first and look in the database. It has been a while. So database, user.
Hey, Roberto. Yes, we're going to show the app, but you just proved that you arrived late because we already showed the app. So, not good. Only kidding. I would only do that with Roberto because we know each other well from interacting a lot on the community forum.
Oh, nice. Okay, so I found it here. It's an SVG that's being generated. I'm assuming that's being done inside the API call of user. It would be user post, right? It would be post. Oh, nope, it would not be post. I don't know if I'll be able to find it for you, to
No,
be honest.
don't worry.
Yeah,
Don't worry.
yeah, I don't know if I'll be able
And
to find
so
it for you.
in the WeWeb editor, if you go on the the background color of the little
Oh,
of the
circle.
container, yeah, then that's bound to. Oh, it's
Oh, here it
okay.
is. So yeah,
Okay.
HTML. It's an HTML element. Okay.
Okay. Oh yeah, and you see it from the. Okay, nice.
And it's pulling from right here, profile default avatar.
Yeah.
That's cool. It renders the SVG
Yeah.
down there. That's really cool.
That's really nice. All right, very cool.
Yeah, that's how that works. I think that's the only. And then the other external API is, and this is the one that I actually had trouble with, is when you upload an image. So like, let's say I upload a file here, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's just upload a picture of my girlfriend here. Oh, that wasn't, just kidding. That was a very large image. Let's do that again. Okay, this removed background. So once I click this upload button, I'll show you guys that. I believe it's a form. Oh, no, it's not. It's a submit button. So upload files in media database. So first it shows a loader, removes the no scroll class, uploads the attachments. I don't even see it here. Anyways, what I was trying to say is once I click upload here, it first will show
Oh, a preview.
the file preview loading, and then I have it
Oh.
set so that within 10 seconds it does another. There it is, right there. So that was an external API. I believe it's file previews.io. Yeah.
Very nice.
So this is the API. So I just send them the URL, I believe, and it pulls out the image, and then I have a thumbnail there now, right? So that it's a little bit better experience there.
Cool.
Yeah.
And Roberto is saying for the gradients, you could have maybe used it with the Schmancy gradient. And he's asking if you.
Schmancy gradients. Did I spell that wrong? Schmancy gradient. I don't know what that tool is. If you could link me that tool, I'd love to check it out.
Yeah, I don't know it either.
Oh, Roberto came late, huh? I'll have to watch the recap to see the rest of it.
All right, nice. And so what did you, I'd be curious to know as well, like what do you find the most fun, like building?
What do I find the most fun building? My favorite part, UI. Yeah, easily UI. That's my favorite part. Designers, I like to think of designers as short-term gratification, right? We like to design pretty things and get that satisfaction instantly in our brain. So for me, the funnest part for sure was, first off, designing the user interface. I looked at, I really wanted to feel like a Notion type of product. Like a Notion product makes you feel like it's a blank canvas that anything can be added on, right? That's really the focus on how I tried to design the application. That part I had so much fun doing.
And you started from Figma and then built in WeWeb?
Started from Figma, yep. Designed it in Figma first, and then I just built out all of it from scratch on WeWeb. And honestly, on WeWeb, I really had fun learning the layout tools of WeWeb 2 and how are web apps laid out, right? Like, for example, most web apps have a menu on the left hand and the main content panel on the right side, right? So either you can have that left menu fixed width and apply margin on the right panel, or you can have it flex box where the left one is adjustable. So I really like seeing all the different ways that you can have something show responsive on a screen, right? When the screen size changes, how do I change those things and how they're appearing? So I have a lot of satisfaction with that kind of stuff too.
Nice. Did you try the import Figma feature?
No,
No.
I don't think it was there at the time that I
It
started
might not have
building
been.
it.
Yeah.
And then at that point, when it came out, I was already like 80% of the way
Yeah.
in. And then I just went from there.
Yeah, cool. Roberto's asking what you found the ultra hardest to build.
In the software itself, the hardest component would have been, oh, and I guess I didn't show you guys the other side of this as well. I'm sorry. So, and I'll show you in the WeWeb editor. So this is the service provider side, by the way. This is what I see as the funnel builder, but the client sees something completely different. The client sees, let's see if this works properly, because I'm not logged in. Yeah, so the client's going to see more of a view like this, where it's like a portal, right? More of a portal view where there's no left-hand sidebar because they don't have clients, right? This is kind of a page that I want clients to come to and it just be an update of everything. See their pages, their tasks, their documents.
Oh, I never saw that part of the...
Yeah, so the user can customize this. I have the navigation set here as well. One thing I need to figure out as well on my end is getting the links to change without refreshing the multi-page section at the top.
Page? Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I have something set on it that's not allowing that to work properly, but
okay. Is it all one page in the editor, or is it
no, they're all different pages, yeah.
Okay, yeah. Okay.
And threads. So threads, this part was kind of difficult. And now that I look here, I need to fix the layout a little bit on the client side. This bar is getting cut off at the bottom. But hardest part for me was separating out the client side and the service provider side, meaning the website designer or the funnel builder, and getting that information displayed properly on both ends without letting there be crossover, because I don't want clients to go into the service provider side. Service providers can go into the client side if they want, but that was kind of one of the hard things for me too, was my web app is almost two separate sides of it. And then the next part I'm assuming is going to be the hardest is using Coalius.
Oh yeah, Coalius.
Yeah, Coalius, so I can give people custom domains for their white labeled portal as well.
Nice. I've never tried Coalius, but I've heard several users
like it in the community, right? In the forums.
Yeah.
Same. I need to get on that.
All right, cool.
And then I guess I can also show him what's going to be the really hardest part to build too. This is the feature I was telling you about, Joyce, that I would like to develop out in the future, but I'm going to have to pay someone to do this because...
Well, Roberto might be the guy, so you can show... you can
Roberto,
tell.
If you can figure out how to do this, dude, let me know. Let me show you. So the feature that I would like to launch is going to be a funnel mapping segment inside of each each client, so where users can literally, like, as you can see here, you can map out
we're only seeing the editor right now.
Oh, you're only seeing the editor. Okay, let me change to my entire desktop. One sec. Okay, I activated new screen share. Okay, awesome. So this is kind of what we're looking at here. So I want to make a funnel mapping feature for this where users can drag and drop, almost like a flowchart editor, right? They can set their conversion rate between steps. So let's say 20% of the people who get to the checkout page are actually getting the upsell page. Let them enter this information. And I want to have like a panel that gives them lots of information. What's the overall conversion rate? Where are the leaks? And really let them just map it out. You can have sources. So, let's say you have YouTube ads or TikTok ads or content, whatever it is. So we have our ad panel up here, drag in the pages, drag in the different sources, so meaning the top ends of the funnel, and really just giving them mappability, right? This is what lets a client and the user, the service provider really see from a high level where's the traffic coming in from, where's the drop off happening. And that's why I have to pay someone, is because I don't think I'll be able to do the drag and drop and have, connectors between things and that
Yeah,
kind
it's
of stuff.
ambitious for
Yeah,
sure.
I can design it, I can make it look beautiful, but I can't
Yeah,
implement
well, it's already one amazing talent. Jessica, I see your question. I won't forget you. Prince is asking, can you share the link of the preview API?
Yes, the link was filepreviews.io.
So
I don't believe I can type that in there. If you can type that in there.
yeah, filepreviews.io. Just
And the reason I chose this as well, whoever asked that question, is because of all of the different file formats. Like if you look here, it's JPEG, PDF, documents, PowerPoints, text files, SVG files, videos. It just works with every single type of file type. That's why this is really good too, I think.
Cool. And Roberto is saying this would be more of a custom coded component thing, in my opinion. I agree. It's pretty handy in WeWeb, so I'd say it's doable with some effort. Yep, I would agree.
Nice.
And Jessica is wondering if you have any more WeWeb projects we're working on or have planned. But I think that's your baby.
At this moment, I do have stuff planned in the future, and I want to tell you guys about that too. Joyce, what I had mentioned about choosing the audience and making sure your efforts are utilized properly, right? So
let's talk about that a little bit, because this is a product, this is an MVP. Let's talk, just take a few minutes to talk about business and what you're planning there.
Yeah. So for everyone listening here, I'm a big proponent of MVP, number one, right? You don't want to spend a bunch of effort and a bunch of money on something that you don't know is going to work. And I believe in, at least for people like us who aren't big software development companies, we're individuals, right? Our blood, sweat, and tears is the capital that goes into this project. So I really think the best way these days is to go for a more micro SaaS approach, meaning you have a very hyper targeted customer audience. So not a super general product. For example, ClickUp would be a general product, right? It's a project management platform for everyone, versus my platform is hyper targeted with features built specifically for funnel builders. People resonate more with the tool that's built more for them versus a jack of trades, right? So people like things personalized for them. So the way I'm going about this, I built it out. And the reason I went for this software, as I told you guys before, is because I was aware of the pain points that people in this industry feel, because I'm one of those people, right? And I had started marketing in the first couple months. I spent probably like $1,000, $2,000 on ads, got maybe one or two customers. But I noticed that it's going to be a long, long time till this is to any sort of MMR where I'm going to be very happy with, right? And feel like this is worth the amount of time and money I spent.
People often underestimate how hard it is to get people to pay you. When you're building things, when you're testing out things, a lot of people will say they want it, but if you just ask for $10 just as a test, and you'll notice
80%.
You can go from 100 to 1. It's really scary. It's so easy to underestimate how hard it is.
Mm-hmm. And that's why I believe that you need to have your target customer as hyper targeted as possible, because I got 2 or 3 paying customers through those ads, but I bet you if this was a super general product that wasn't geared towards that specific audience, I could have spent that $2,000 with 0 sales easily. So what I learned through that is the proper way to go about this, at least in my opinion, and what I'm doing now is I'm partnering with someone who already has I think he has 1 or 2,000 customers that are these target audience, meaning funnel builders. He's a course creator. He's sold a course for $1,000. He has 1,500 or 2,000 customers that are all certified funnel builders. They took his program, they've gotten his certification, they're quote unquote certified funnel builders. So I'm partnering with him, giving him 50% of the software, and he's going to include that into all his marketing, all his product stacks. And he already has all of that stuff built out, right? So I don't have to waste years and hundreds of thousands of dollars to get the same amount of value that I'm going to get out of literally just partnering with him and letting him do all that work.
Yeah.
I mean, owning 50% of $100,000 a month is way better than owning 100% of a couple $100 a month, right?
Yeah, for sure. And it's about skill set. I had a similar experience in the past where I partnered with someone who had an audience and I didn't. And honestly, I would have not made a buck because I really dislike asking for money. I was
Same.
just embarrassed by I'm not a good salesperson. Like, I'm good at like promoting others when I love what they do, but if it's promoting my work,
It's hard.
I'm
Same.
nowhere to be seen. It's so difficult. That's why salespeople are paid so much because it's a very rare skill to be able to ask
Yeah.
money for people. So,
And
yeah, I
often
think
us as the
it's
builders, we're more. I think it's important to partner with people that can cover your weaknesses, like we talked about, right?
yeah,
That's our weakness. Is
absolutely,
we don't want to talk ourselves up or be super salesy. You have to let other people do that. Let us
yeah,
focus on what we're good at.
yeah, and what we enjoy. I mean, it's so
Enjoy
important to
too.
spend your days building and doing things you enjoy rather than trying to squeeze a buck or two here and there, doing something that makes you super uncomfortable. All right, cool. Roberto has another like question about like, does the funnels part rely on SEO, and do users
Uh,
send paid traffic there?
yeah, for the most part, sales funnels do not really care about SEO because most of the time, sales funnels getting all their traffic from paid traffic, either paid traffic or let's say an email blast. Most of the time, it's not going to be from SEO.
Yeah, because I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think sales funnel, the idea is really to iterate very fast and to do a lot of A/B testing. So you
Mhm.
would pay, like the advantage of paid traffic is that you can get large
There you
volumes
go.
super fast, whereas SEO, it can take months to get proper organic traffic, and then it's kind of too late if you're still testing it. It doesn't make as much sense.
Yep, 100%. And I forgot to answer whoever's question had asked if there's any more projects in the future. The reason I was explaining the
Yeah.
micro SaaS thing is because
Oh, sorry.
my plans in the future are to create more micro SaaSes, to interview people first off, because you have to know. The only reason I built this software is because I know this industry. I don't know plumbing industry. I don't know dentist industry. I don't know what pain points those people go through on the daily. So I think you need to interview someone in that industry, ask them, what are the problems you deal with the day to day that there's no solution for? Build a solution for that, and then find someone who already has that audience or a company related to that. Partner with them, give up 50%, and actually make money from it in a reasonable amount of time versus letting things fizzle out, changing your attention to something else. Then you spent half a year building this beautiful product that you're never going to leverage properly, right?
Yeah, sure. And Princess, he commented when you were showing the Figma design for the new feature. It's
Nice.
it
Thanks,
is
Prince.
huge, beautiful.
Thank you, sir.
Um, all right. Jessica is also asking like, how many hours would you guesstimate you have invested in building this?
I would guesstimate probably like 6 hours a day, 5 days a week for like 3 months, 3, 4 months, I would say. So I don't know what the numbers is on that, but probably like 100,
Yeah.
200 hours.
So yeah, pretty much full time for 3 months.
Yeah, almost full time for 3 months. Yeah, I would essentially. So I usually wake up around 5 a.m. I do all my client work, so my website design work up until like usually like noon. I'll stop around noon, and after that is when I would just sit there on my laptop downstairs and just be on WeWeb the entire rest of the day till
Yeah.
like 6
And
p.m.
And I'm guessing, like, on the We website, you didn't have too much to learn because you were very familiar with Webflow. So some things to learn, of course, but more the logic part, like you mentioned, and then you
Yeah,
have to learn the Xano side of things, like the
yeah.
database
The Xano side was what I
security. This,
learned, and then just like referring to data and displaying data,
yeah,
the basics on that.
nice. And Fred is asking, your tool seems to be a multi-tenant SaaS. Are you using something like Stripe Connect?
I did not understand the question. Multi-tenant SaaS. What does that mean?
So it's when you have like those the custom domains you have for everyone, you want to have for everyone. Then
like
I
that.
think that's what.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. It's not like that yet. I want to do that in the future. Yeah, we don't have that functionality yet, and I don't think I'm using Stripe Connect. I'm just using the base Stripe checkout, uh, just like the way that the WeWeb tutorials and the Xano tutorials show it.
Are you using the WeWeb Stripe plugin or are you doing it in Xano?
I
Do you
am
remember?
using. All I know is that I actually don't know. That's a good question. I
You
think
don't remember that?
yeah, because I have a component button that I built that's named Stripe Session Create button. So I'm
Yeah.
assuming that's WeWeb side, right?
Yeah, probably.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
it's okay. I was just curious because if you're using the WeWeb plugin and you did not say it was one of the most challenging thing you had to do, I'm really happy because I get so many questions about the Stripe plugin. So I
I
was curious
see.
about that.
Yes. Hey, I will say Stripe. Actually, I think it was on Xano, because on the Xano side, the Stripe was very difficult for me. Like giving them the billing portal, like for them to change their payment details and all that kind of stuff. I had a lot of trouble with that. I
I
do
think
remember now.
I think Stripe is challenging. I mean, payment gateways are challenging because they require, it's like you have to have so many expertise. Like, so you have the UI and you have the UI building. I don't have the design side of things. I have the UI, but then you need to have the database design, and then you need to have kind of the API thing and the business logic and the formulas. And payment is again something different. Like OAuth, it's again something different where you have to understand like the sessions, the cookies,
Oh
and stuff
yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
So I think it's just challenging.
Yeah, it's just essentially, I mean, it's kind of how I view it is what I learned was like a crash course on web development, right? It was all of those
Yeah.
categories of stuff you would learn in normal web development school, but really dumbed down to only what I needed and to get it done with these tools rather than learning all the syntax and all the nonsense associated with it.
And what's cool about, like, I think if anyone in the chat doesn't have like a concrete project, like a specific project, it really helps to have one, like to have a very specific project you want to build, because it will help you learn what you need to learn when you need to learn it. So it's not theoretical. And like in web development, whether you're learning to write code or you're using no code or low code tools, it's hard. Like there are tough programming concepts you need to understand, and if you don't have a real project, you're gonna give up because it's not worth the time
That's like
if you don't have it.
literally based on what you said. I'm imagining two scenarios. First scenario, before I even start building the product, I try to learn how to build the rich text element, how to
Yeah.
build the task Kanban system, and all of this stuff. And after that, I start to build, I have forgotten 75 to 80% of all that
Yeah.
stuff. Versus the way I did it, every time I would come across the feature I needed to build, I figure out how to build it, and I'll never forget it after that because I was learning it through the action of doing it, right?
Yeah, for sure. And MT is asking if it's possible to make multi-tenant where client customer could have their own custom domain using the same WeWeb app. So yeah, it is possible. It's not an inbuilt feature of WeWeb. We have customers using co-alias. We haven't tested it ourselves, so it's not like we're not like endorsing them. We haven't tested them ourselves, but there are a few customers in the WeWeb community forum who have used them and seem to like the product. So you might want to look into that. That's what Neel is going to explore next.
Yep. I'll give you guys my breakdown in the forums if I figure it out.
Awesome. All right. Well, we're getting close to the end of the hour. Was there anything else you wanted to talk about, Neel? If you have any other question in the chat, let us know. Don't hesitate.
I think I covered everything from my end. My main thing I really wanted to get across to anyone watching was the micros, because overarching over all this technical stuff and building and whatnot is the business stuff, right? Is this actually going to be the right use of your time, blood, sweat, and tears? And if it is, what are you going to do to make sure that you get the most out of this versus just letting it rot in your account, right, for years and not doing anything with it? So I think that's the number one thing I wanted to really get across is make sure that before you build something, you know how you're going to get it in people's hands, right? Whether that's you have a strong marketing plan or you have a person that's willing to partner with you and you can give up 50%. Again, it's better to own 50% of something making a lot of money than 100% of something making no money. So that's my big big
I think that's a
conclusion.
great message. It's I mean, it's not specific to the no-code space, but it's something that I often think about when I see, inspirational posts on Twitter or LinkedIn. What people post is not always true. So don't be fooled by how easy some people make it seem. It is hard to build a business. So definitely and no code is cool because you can iterate faster, but I think your advice to like find someone who already has an audience if you don't have one is like so helpful. You'll save so much time. And Roberto, I believe for the multi-tenant thing is saying you can set up, so as an alternative to Coelius, I guess, you can set up an Nginx reverse proxy if you want to save money, but it's not no code.
So you're
No, it's
using a
not.
foreign language,
Yeah.
Roberto. You're using a foreign language, dude. And I have no idea what that is, but
If people want to look it up, you can start investigating. That's the fun thing about, that's one of the things I like about no code as well, is that little by little, depending on your personality, your skill set, what you love doing. Some will learn more about one topic, others will get absorbed in another. I often think about like Wes, and who has templates like with Rarely Decaf on our marketplace, and Kian, who did a webinar with us last year. Like, I remember these two when like they first started with WeWeb, they really weren't developers, and now they're like, I I don't know if they're coders now. I think Wes maybe. I haven't spoken to him in a while, but like in terms of mindset, they're really programmers, and they took, they can read and write some JavaScript, which they didn't used to be able to do so. Anyway,
yeah.
I really like that. I don't know why I'm.
Yeah, no, I know
Anyway.
what you mean too. It's me getting into this has opened up a bunch, like it's improved my business, like my website design and development business a lot too, because I understand things that before, if a client asked me to build a custom, any sort of custom element on Webflow, I'm most likely telling them, no, I don't know how to do that.
Yeah.
If you want me to do that, you have to pay a lot of money for me to pay someone else. But
Yeah.
now, because I understand these core concepts, I can honestly, I feel like I can build anything on any website because I know the basics of it. I know how to utilize AI and ask it properly how to accomplish this. That's really just the biggest part.
Nice. Oh, and yeah, Roberto is saying, I hadn't thought of it, but the nice thing about WeWeb is that you can simply take your exported code and chuck it anywhere. Do multi-tenant or alter the PWA to run offline. Yeah, I hadn't even thought of that, but that is an option for sure. All right, cool. Well, thanks so much everyone for showing up, for your questions. I really enjoyed the conversation. I really enjoyed the questions. I hope you had fun as well, Neel. It
I
was
had
amazing
fun.
having
I
you.
had a lot of fun. I had a lot of
All
fun.
right, cool. So maybe we can do it again next year with the
The
huge drag and
full on
drop.
thing. Yep, yep. Let's do it.
All right, awesome. Well, thanks so much for being here. See you everyone in the community probably, or on YouTube sometime later. And yeah, have a great rest of the day, everyone.
Yeah,
Bye.
great rest of your day. Thank you so much for hosting it, Joyce. Always great speaking.